Hello, this is Kay from essentialkorean.com. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Essential Korean K쌤입니다. In today's episode, we will learn how to negate verb forms, or more simply, how to express what someone doesn't do. We've learned previously how to say what actions we do, like I eat or I cook. And negating these statements entails learning how to say I don't eat or I don't cook. Thus, instead of the short answer, 아니요, you'll be able to provide more elaborate answers to the questions that ask if you do certain actions or what you do. Are you ready? I'm ready and excited for today's lesson. Let's get to work. There are two ways to negate a verb in Korean. One is short and simple, and the other is a little longer and requires a bit of more work. We'll tackle the simpler one in this episode. One thing to note here though, the short form can sound more casual and less formal than the other form. But in daily conversation, this short form we are going to learn today will be just as good. Just don't be disappointed because it's too simple. We can negate a given verb by placing the prefix an before the verb. That's it. I'll run through 10 pairs of verb phrases, one affirmative and the other negative. All verbs will be from the two previous episodes. I will omit the subject in the examples, as in Korean, they aren't always necessary if it's obvious who is being referred to in the given context. For the English translation, however, I'll use the pronoun I. One more thing. When written, there is a space between the prefix an and the verb. But in speaking, the verb will follow the prefix an immediately after, so they will sound like one word. I'll say the negative sentence slowly first, and then at a more natural speed so you'll know what I mean. Please listen and repeat after me. I sleep. 자요. I don't sleep. 안 자요. 앉아요. I get up. 일어나요. I don't get up. 안 일어나요. 안 일어나요. I eat kimchi. 김치 먹어요. I don't eat kimchi. 김치 안 먹어요. 김치 안 먹어요. I drink coffee. 커피 마셔요. I don't drink coffee. 커피 안 마셔요. 커피 안 마셔요. I study Korean. 한국말 공부해요. I don't study Korean. 한국말 공부 안 해요. 한국말 공부 안 해요. I work. 일해요. I don't work. 일 안 해요. 일 안 해요. I exercise. 운동해요. I don't exercise. 운동 안 해요. 운동 안 해요. I watch Korean drama. 한국 드라마 봐요. I don't watch Korean drama. 한국 드라마 안 봐요. 한국 드라마 안 봐요. I listen to K-pop. K-pop 들어요. I don't listen to K-pop. K-pop 안 들어요. K-pop 안 들어요. Now, I would like to introduce 6 new Korean verbs for go, learn, teach, read, meet, and like. For go, it's 가요, 가요, 가요. For learn, it's 배워요, 배워요, 배워요. For teach, 가르쳐요, 가르쳐요, 가르쳐요. For read, 읽어요, 읽어요, 읽어요. For meet, 만나요, 만나요, 만나요. For like, 좋아해요, 좋아해요, 좋아해요. So far, so good? Now, I'll say an affirmative sentence once and its negative counterpart twice with these verbs. I go to school. 학교 가요. I don't go to school. 학교 안 가요. 학교 안 가요. I learn English. 영어 배워요. I don't learn English. 영어 안 배워요. 영어 안 배워요. I teach coding. 코딩 가르쳐요. I don't teach coding. 코딩 안 가르쳐요. 코딩 안 가르쳐요. I read the news. 뉴스 읽어요. I don't read the news. 뉴스 안 읽어요. 뉴스 안 읽어요. I meet friends. 친구 만나요. I don't meet friends. 친구 안 만나요. 친구 안 만나요. That would be sad, by the way. I like action movies. 액션 영화 좋아해요. I don't like action movies. 액션 영화 안 좋아해요. 액션 영화 안 좋아해요. Okay, so we did some drills. How about we practice using the verbs learned in the conversation? Situation 1. Let's assume you were talking with me, K-Sam, about the division of labor between you and your roommate. I ask you if your roommate cooks. 요리해요? Does your roommate cook? 요리해요? How would you answer if your roommate doesn't cook and she or he doesn't like cooking? There's no need for the subject roommate to be said because it's understood clearly in the context. But you can choose to say it in one of the sentences. Putting in both sentences may make it sound redundant though. Listen to the sentences with or without the subject. 요리 안 해요. 요리 안 좋아해요. Or 룸메이트 요리 안 해요. 요리 안 좋아해요. Or repeat after me. 요리 안 해요. 룸메이트 요리 안 좋아해요. Situation 2. Colleagues at lunch are talking about tuning into the radio these days. One of them asks if you listen to the radio. 라디오 들어요? How would you answer if you don't listen to the radio? You listen to podcasts. Repeat after me. 라디오 안 들어요. 팟캐스트 들어요. 라디오 안 들어요. 팟캐스트 들어요. Situation 3. A colleague who is working on a project and meeting the deadline with you calls and asks if you're working on the project. 프로젝트 해요? You happen to be having dinner. What would you say? There are few ways to respond. To emphasize today's learning points, I would suggest this. 아니요, 프로젝트 안 해요. 지금 저녁 먹어요. No, I'm not doing the project. I'm having dinner right now. 아니요, 프로젝트 안 해요. 지금 저녁 먹어요. Alright, moving on to the next situation, situation 4. Your school is closed for a special event. You run into your neighbor on the street who asks, 학교 가요? How would you answer if you are actually on the way to meet your friend? Think and say your answer out loud. You can first tell your neighbor you are not going to school. 학교 안 가요. 학교 안 가요. 학교 안 가요. And then you can say you are meeting friends. 친구 만나요. 친구 만나요. So the conversation will go like this. 학교 가요? 아니요, 학교 안 가요. 친구 만나요. 학교 가요? 아니요, 학교 안 가요. 친구 만나요. How are we doing so far? So far, so good? I want to discuss 2 more verbs, 이다 and 있다, and their negative counterparts as they take different forms. Let's say your colleague asks if the cell phone on the desk is Susan's phone. 수잔 씨 핸드폰이에요? If you know it's not Susan's phone, what would you say? Yes, we learned this. You would say, 수잔 씨 핸드폰 아니에요. 수잔 씨 핸드폰 아니에요. The verb 아니에요 is not composed of the prefix 안 and 이에요. The verb 아니에요 is derived from 아니다, which means to not be, and its informal polite form is the 4-syllable word 아니에요. In fact, you cannot place the negative infix 안 in front of the verb 이에요. There simply is no such form. In short, the negative counterpart of the verb to be, 에요 or 이에요, is 아니에요. Okay, the next verb is 있다. This verb is similar to the 이다 verb in that its negative counterpart is not formed by having 안 before the verb, but is a distinctly separate verb, 없다. I'll ask you if you have time. 시간 있어요? 시간 있어요? If you don't, you should say 아니요, 시간 없어요. Not 시간 안 있어요. This sentence 시간 안 있어요 just wouldn't sound right because people don't negate the verb 있어요 with 안 있어요. At least not normally. So again, the negative counterpart of the verb 있다 is 없다, not 안 있다. If you don't have something, you would say 없어요. Here's an expansion question. If I tell you that 재미있다 means to be fun or to be interesting in Korean, and you can say 재미있어요 to mean it's interesting or it's fun, how would you say it's not interesting or it's not fun in Korean? Yes, it would be 재미없어요, not 재미 안 있어요. Do you get this? Please remember to separate these two verbs 이다 and 있다 from other verbs for the negative form and use 아니다 and 없다 respectively for their negative counterpart verbs. Let's now make short dialogues. Imagine the following situation. Situation 5. You and your colleague have been trying to reach your client, but his line has been busy all day. When you call the client again, your colleague next to you asks, 통화 중이에요? In this context, your colleague is asking if the line is busy. 통화 중이에요? In the last episode, we learned that 통화 중이에요 means be in the middle of a call, right? You now know it can also mean the line's busy, depending on context. How would you respond to your colleague's question, 통화 중이에요? If the line is no longer busy and is ringing? Yes, you can say, 아니요, 통화 중 아니에요. And also add, 신호 가요. 신호 means signal and 가요, as we learned earlier, means go. In the context of phone calls, it's used when the caller has your call connecting and you're waiting for the other to pick up the call. Repeat after me. 신호 가요. 신호 가요. 신호 가요. Let's imagine another situation. Situation 6. You're watching a movie at home. Your roommate comes home, sees you watching the movie, and asks, 영화 재미있어요? 영화 is a movie in Korean, so your roommate is asking if the movie is interesting. Repeat after me. 영화 재미있어요? 영화 재미있어요? How would you respond if you find the movie boring? You would say, 아니요, 재미없어요. No, it's not interesting. Or you can add 별로 before 재미없어요 to mean it's not that interesting. 아니요, 별로 재미없어요. Now, 별로, in colloquial speech, people pronounce it 별로. 아니요, 별로 재미없어요. 아니요, 별로 재미없어요. 아니요, 별로 재미없어요. Next situation, situation 7. Your housemate sees a cell phone on the dining table. Knowing the other housemate, Susie, often misplaces her cell phone and looks for it around the house, pointing at the cell phone, he asks, 수지 씨 핸드폰이에요? Is it Susie's cell phone? You and Susie have the same cell phone model and even similar black cases, making it easy to mistake one's case for the other's. Correct your housemate's assumption and tell him it is your cell phone. Would you respond, 아니요, 수지 씨 핸드폰 아니에요. 내 핸드폰이에요. No, it's not Suji's cell phone. It's my cell phone. Repeat after me. 아니요, 수지 씨 핸드폰 아니에요. 내 핸드폰이에요. 아니요, 수지 씨 핸드폰 아니에요. 내 핸드폰이에요. 아니요, 수지 씨 핸드폰 아니에요. 내 핸드폰이에요. Now, it's the last situation for today's episode. Situation 8. You and your housemates are looking at the course catalog of the city's culture center, 문화센터, for the new term and talking about what they're learning. Knowing you took a coding class last term, Susie asks if you're learning coding again this term. 코딩 배워요? How would you respond if you are not doing the coding class this term, but actually teaching English at the center? That's right. You can say, 아니요, 코딩 안 배워요. 저 영어 가르쳐요. No, I don't learn coding. I teach English. Repeat after me. 아니요, 코딩 안 배워요. 저 영어 가르쳐요. I'll say in a natural speed. 아니요, 코딩 안 배워요. 저 영어 가르쳐요. 아니요, 코딩 안 배워요. 저 영어 가르쳐요. Well, we're done for situational Korean today. How was the lesson? I hope you will come back to this episode soon and listen again for more practice. Please do not get frustrated if you can't quite recall the verbs from this and previous episodes. You've in fact been introduced to quite a few verbs over the past 3 or so episodes. Just remember that repetition is key and so is active learning when it comes to gaining proficiency in a new language. Trust me, you'll get it in due time with practice. Enjoy the journey and stay on course. I will connect with you again with a new lesson soon. Until then, stay healthy. 고맙습니다. 안녕히 계세요.